Hello and welcome to Tempo Check, baby. Tempo Check 1-2. I'm your host, Cathryn Niker.
And I'm your other host, Dez and Dot. Just kidding. I'm your other host, Freddie Rivas. What's up, everybody? Follow us on all of our social media accounts at the Pickup WNBA podcast. And, give us some love. Tell us you love us or, high five your neighbor. Do whatever you want. But really, we do appreciate all of the, internet traction that anyone gives us in any form. So thank you for listening and thanks for supporting.
Today's a big day for us here at Tempo Check because we finally got the mascot reveal. We were there last night. We saw it in person. The hype was real. We got 2 mascots, which was definitely a surprise. I don't think anybody saw that coming. But our 2 mascots, Dez and Dot and Dez, a tortoise, a snapping turtle, and an Arctic hare. Few things about them. Dez is a borealis blue snapping turtle from Mascot, Ontario. Their name inspired by a decibel, inspired by their nod, love of music, and their role as a more measured half of the duo, which I feel like we're going to talk about. Dez is calm, clever, and always thinking a few steps ahead. So this is like, we're getting into like some serious personality traits here.
We are.
Dez is a Taurus, who spins the 1s and 2s in their spare time. Dez's secret talent is snapping, and they have a particular fondness for soft shell tacos. The puns are real. Okay, Dot is an Arctic hare named for Toronto's longtime nickname, the T-Dot. So if you're outside of Toronto, T-Dot is a nickname for Toronto before Drake came up with the 6. Originally from the Arctic Circle. She brings seemingly endless energy, acrobatics, and enthusiasm to everything she does, making her the undisputed hype woman of the pair. Dot is also a Gemini whose hobbies can be best described as hops and hype. I'm not sure what that means exactly. Dot loves cotton candy. The TV show Drive to
Hops and hype? We know what that is.
The TV show Drive to Survive, and an opportunity to get the crowd on its feet. Okay, Freddie, I know you have so much to say, so I want you to just want you to jump in. Or do you want me to direct this a bit more? Do you want to just go off, or do you want me to tell me what's going to be?
It's up to you. This could be a 2-hour pod for me.
We're not going to do a 2-hour podcast. Okay, so let's start from the very beginning. We see Dot.
Yeah.
What do you think of Dot?
I mean, I think it's fair for me to say, extremely underwhelmed.
Okay.
Right? So everyone around me, it's like, it's not like boos were about to start, but no one was like, what? This is amazing. It was like, we've all seen Donnie Darko. We've all seen like a big sort of rabbit. So, tricks are for kids, whatever. There's a lot of like rabbits in the zeitgeist. So I think there was a little bit of like, oh, it's a rabbit. And I think we're like, okay, I guess we'll see what happens here. The dance pack pops up and they do some dance moves, and it's like, okay, nothing like wild dance wise, but I guess they can dance a little bit. And then, then it happens. Then we get the screen flashes, and like it's like a I'm a big wrestling fan, or was growing up, so it's like that sort of drama. Like, what? There's another mascot? 2 mascots? Immediately it was like, okay, first of all, you can't judge Dot by themselves because they're a duo. So in and of itself, it's like, okay, if I do a solo podcast, it might be like, oh, it was pretty good, but yeah, Cathryn wasn't there, and like they sort of got a vibe, right? So that is like you have to judge them together.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say this before I go on longer.
Mm-hmm.
That surprise was good. It got me pretty jacked. And in general, I feel like this is very thoughtful. Tortoise and the hare, a nod to like, and like Indigenous Canada. The Dez is very much like a butch vibe, which is really cool. I
They
mean, that
them.
they them, that's awesome. So embracing the LGBTQ plus culture of Toronto and Canada, like that's like unapologetically amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll stop there. I have so many more thoughts, but I'll let you jump in.
I agree in terms of like first impressions. Also too, like we saw very little of them, so maybe like we'll see more as it goes. But the idea that they have different personalities did not come across at all.
No.
Like like we saw very little, but like they both seemed like equal energy. Like it wasn't like one was like jumping all over the place and the other one was like slow, like far from it. And you
Yeah.
don't want to see a lethargic mascot anyway. So I don't really
No,
know why
yeah.
why
No one's
they're
clamoring
doing
for a
that.
slow mascot for sure.
Yeah, nobody wants that. So I don't know why that's a thing. I don't
Bring
think
in a
that's
sloth.
I think that's overthinking it. I don't think they need to do that. Yeah, so I don't know what they're doing with the two different personalities there. Maybe we'll see that evolve over time. I do think the bunny Dot, love the name Dot. I think that's perfect.
Sure. Yeah.
I think um she could use some improvements. Like I feel like the costume looks like she looks a little creepy.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think the white rabbit, I get they went with like an Arctic rabbit, but I feel like it looks a bit generic. It looks a bit Easter. It looks a bit like we've seen this rabbit before. It doesn't look
Yeah.
completely original the way Dez looks completely original. Like Dot really looks like a costume mascot rabbit we've seen before. I think if they gave Dot like a bit of hair, like the way Ellie has like hair that she can play with, or like the way like Violet has glasses, like some other kind of thing that could like really distinguish her, I feel like would be really helpful. And I just think like Dot is like good. She just needs like a few little things to really make her stand out and then kind of be on the same like hype level we all are for Des. The other thing is that Des really does check off all the boxes, right? Like you're representing Canada, you're representing Indigenous Canada, you're representing the queer community, you're doing something completely original, cool looking, lots of fun. Like, like nobody would have picked a turtle for Toronto because it isn't Toronto, but also
Well, we have
like
turtles.
we do technically have
I,
turtles.
I I see turtles like almost on a weekly basis at the park.
Oh
Like
wow,
me
there's
me
there's turtles at Hyde Park
yeah.
as well, which is not too far from me. But anyway, like I feel like they kind of overthought it with the tempo thing and the two different styles and like look at all these different tempos and it's like I think you want to only be high energy, so we'll see where that goes. The other thing I want to point out is that the Aces already have a rabbit. Buckets, the Aces mascot is a rabbit.
Mm,
So now there's two rabbits in the league,
this is interesting.
which I thought was kind of odd.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, it's like why like I feel like a lot of people weren't thinking rabbit, I think for obvious reasons, but also like there is a rabbit.
So I guess let me ask you this.
Mhm.
Are you suggesting that perhaps Dot may die, pass away?
Okay, is this an American Idol situation where there were two hosts and then there was only Ryan Seacrest?
You know what I mean? Like, is this a scenario where like Dot gets cut off or Dot evolves? And I think like
I think Dot needs to evolve. I don't want to necessarily see Dot cut.
You brought up the most important mascot in history with Ellie, right? So I did a little bit of like research on Ellie's Ellie's like 2021. In 2023, Ellie had like a full change, and they did the hair, and like the original Ellie is not the Ellie we know.
Right.
Like this sort of like Ellie takeoff happened in 2023.
Yeah.
So I think, and we've seen a lot of the mascots in the W like evolve, get more feminine, black, queer, like they just have sort of like leaned into that, Ellie obviously leading the way. So I think, yeah, lots of room for evolution here. I will also say lots of room for story and drama, like Chelsea Late with TSN, friend of the pod, awesome comedian. She said per team sources, they are not siblings. They're not dating.
Per team sources is so funny.
They are besties.
Okay.
And I'll say this. Don't believe it. So
I don't believe they're not dating.
They're besties for now.
It's smart of the team to be like, oh no, they're not dating, because then that makes us all talk about them more.
That's right.
In terms of dating. So
maybe
it's like a TV sitcom, and then there's like a will they or won't they narrative that goes on for years.
Yeah. It's a Netflix and chill scenario. I will also say I fully am with you as far as like vibe, because it's sort of like I didn't notice any distinct characters. The only thing I did notice that there was at one point where they were throwing t-shirts, and because of our season seats, I was like I was close enough to be like, oh my god, I might get a t-shirt here. Not really though, but Dot was like throwing some t-shirts, and Dez just like slowly walked off and left, and I'm like, y'all need to figure.
I did kind of notice that too, but I didn't realize what was going on, so I thought maybe I missed something. I did notice like only Dot's on the court right now.
I was like, Dez, could you hang out for a bit,
and
like
then,
till
like,
the t-shirts are done?
Guard came and was like, Dot, like you gotta go. We're starting the game again, and like kind of like told them to leave.
Yeah,
but
Dez just sort of.
I thought that was like a mistake. I thought that was like a production error.
Yeah, and speaking of production errors, like we're Toronto Raptors people. The Raptor came out of a dinosaur egg. Like it was nuts. It was amazing. I think if you're gonna have Dez,
also no mystery on what the mascot would be with the Raptors, just what it would look like.
Yes. But I think it would have been, and yeah, we talked about on the pickup pod, we talked about the fire. Like I think if you have an animal name, it's like, okay, I guess it's gonna be that. But if you're the tempo or the fire, or like the fever, like
you're just like here's Freddie. All right.
Yeah, here's Freddie. He's sick.
It's just a red blob of a dude.
Here's Freddie. He's got COVID. But yeah. Like, anyways,
no one's got a vaccine. Oh no.
No one's. It's pre-vaccine. He's got a COVID.
It's Indiana. It's a real 50-50 situation.
I also said he's got a COVID. He's got one of those COVIDs. But
I thought you stumbled. I didn't realize you actually.
No, I mean, stumbling is
just
generous.
like COVID, not like
stumbling's generous. Thank you. But all right. all this to say, I think I was talking with some folks at work. There's a lot of room for growth, and I like that because, and also 2 mascots is really a bold choice. I like bold choices. That's cool. Overall, I think this is a win. Like I think it's a win, and yeah, like I've heard some people be like, oh, I don't know if they're like sort of like if it's kind of like more like on the adult side, and like they're like, are kids gonna like it's like kids are gonna they're 2 mascots. Kids are gonna love them. It's all good. And honestly,
It's a
The more
rabbit
the
and a
merrier.
turtle. They're not gonna not love it. It's a rabbit and a turtle.
I've
That's not
also
gonna be
had
complicated for kids.
I've had folks be like, Freddie, was that you? I didn't see you weren't at your seat when this happened. Um, and you know, there's been a lot of suspicion about me
Yeah,
being,
your does. You just got tired and left?
yeah, like all I'm gonna say is this: there's two, could be three. So if you see Dip the narwhal, might be me. That's
Oh,
all I'm saying.
dip the narwhal. All right.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's random. Okay, another I feel like this is important mascot related. Dot's ears hanging low. How
Yes.
do we feel about it? Do you care? I didn't like it.
The purple is a bit like,
I want the ears to be up. Or in the cartoon drawing they had, the ears were up in like in a ponytail, like you're playing basketball, and that I liked. I
that's
didn't
cool. Like a
I thought that
headband.
maybe like they were just trying to do like, oh, it's like pigtails or something, like, oh, look at these ponytails, but I didn't like the ears down.
I think what we're saying is Dez is great and Dot needs some work.
Yes, absolutely. Des is great. Dot needs some work. I think too, yeah, like we said, like Des is just so original and Dot just isn't yet.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know of like a turtle mascot.
And not a they them mascot at that.
Exactly. Like there's a lot going on with Dez. And we also got to shout out Andrew Fung, who was on our social media, who you saw you used to write for a show, and he was a wonderful guy, and Run the Burb, check it out. But yeah, we were interviewing him and his family, and like just two incredible moments. One, they were all saying that it could be, they wanted a raccoon, and
Yeah.
one of his kids said it's a family decision, which is like the cutest, funniest thing.
That it would be a raccoon. I
Yes.
I agree though. Like I feel as a Torontonian to not have a raccoon mascot is a missed opportunity.
But it simply could not be
Well, hold on. I
a
have another
raccoon.
I have another hot take about the mascots.
Sure.
And that is I understand that the tempo we're trying to like reach across Canada. And I
Mhm.
do appreciate that on a certain level. On the other hand, I don't want the tempo to be so much Canada's team that it discourages expansion to other Canadian cities.
And I also just selfishly wanted to be more Toronto. Like even the Vancouver, Montreal, it's like I love that for you. I want our players to win games, and like if that
And
means
be
like
home. Like,
yes.
it's crazy that there's only 3 games in Toronto well, there's only 4 games total in Toronto after the All-Star break and the end of the season.
And for our American international listeners, you've heard that Canada's big, and it is. And
You
Vancouver
could
is,
we could go to England for the same cost and
yeah.
distance as Vancouver.
I've never been to Vancouver, which is a fault of mine, but it's far, okay? It's very far.
Yeah, anyway, I just feel like I get that they want to have this outreach across Canada, and I do ultimately think that's a good thing. But I would like to see Montreal and Vancouver one day have their own teams. And so if we keep pulling all from all this like Canada lore, then it's like it's just not as Toronto specific. So anyway, I understand what they were going for. I like the thoughtfulness, like you said, like bringing in Indigenous Canada and everything as well. I think is excellent. But I do wish it was more Toronto, so we could leave the Canadiana of it all for the rest of Canada as the league grows over time.
Yeah. Here. We,
Um,
we will keep tabs on it. I think, we should probably jump into some we're at the game, we should probably jump into a little bit of the game and a little bit of the tempo are about
oh
to
yeah, the
lose their
game.
12th game right now, unfortunately, against the Mystics, who you
Yeah.
aptly described as completely having our number.
Yeah, they just have so much size,
Yeah, they're
and
just,
that's
yeah,
been a weakness of ours
it's rough.
all year round. They're like built to beat us. It's just kind of what it is.
Yeah.
But it was really interesting having the Fever in Toronto. Finally, we get Caitlin Clark in Toronto, kind of like in the middle of all the Sophie Cunningham chaos. Um, I felt like it was a really interesting, really unique atmosphere at the game. Overall, very positive, but it was definitely different than the other games we've been to.
It's the most so as a, Raptor fan for a very long time, it reminded me it still does happen, especially with the Raptors the last couple years, but, like, early Raptor days, it would be like a Laker game or a Knicks game or a Celtics game or whatever it was, and you would have so many, like, as I describe, front runners. People who are sort of, like, into teams that are already good or players that are already good more than their home team.
Mhm.
And, that's your prerogative or whatever, but, like, I think really sort of, like, loyal, engaged, active, you know, fan bases, like, that's less of a thing. And I'm not into the sort of, like, hostile fan, like, I don't think you should be if you're a Temple fan, you should be mad at Caitlin Clark jerseys, but at the same time, there is this sort of thing where it's like, okay, let's let's try and have our own home court. You know what I mean? Like, um, we wanna make sure that, we're not, like, cheering for,
Right.
like,
Well,
I
I thought
yeah,
we did though. I thought despite all of that,
I
we
thought we
very
did.
much had our own home court. Like Caitlyn, like when they did the introductions, like Brittany Sykes got the biggest cheer for
Yes,
coming
which
back after injury.
was so lovely to see.
Yeah, like as big as Caitlin Clark is, like she did not get the biggest cheers of
I
the
made my
night.
section do a standing O, by the way, for Sykes.
Oh, that's really nice.
I started standing up, I just looked around, I was like, "We're all getting up for this," and people were like, "Okay, dude," and they did.
Wow, look at you.
Yeah. No, it was big. I was, like, almost emotional seeing Sykes come back.
Yeah, we were in different parts of the arena for this one, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, it was really great to see her back. I mean, do we want to touch on the Sophie Cunningham of it all just briefly?
Yeah, I think, from my angle, I'll just sum it up by this. There's a lady in my section who stood up and said, "Eat shit, Sophie." Everybody cheered. So that was cool.
She was booed a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know how much she gets booed in other cities, but she was booed a lot. It was very clear, very obvious. They attempted a rally outside the stadium before the game and an anti-trans pro Sophie rally. It was attended by 15 to 20 people,
Yeah.
period. I think that says it all.
Well, I'll just add to
Um,
that. My partner was like, I think that's a bus. That's a bus full of angry white people.
well, I don't even know if that bus was full.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. The bus wasn't even full.
I,
That was
I'm
like,
it's the definition of an angry minority.
yeah,
That's loud, but not relevant. It made me proud of this city that side of things was not relevant here.
mhm,
Made me really proud of my city in the fact that like when there were some really good signs at this game that were, pro trans, etc., that whenever like one of those signs hit the jumbotron, it got a big cheer.
yeah,
I think that's really important that like the vast majority of this fan base is really all on the same side.
yeah. It was
I,
cool,
I, I think
and
that's
even at a game like
incredible.
Scotiabank.
Yeah. There's one other observation that I want to point out that I just thought was interesting is so I attended like a shoot around for this earlier on, but I wasn't with media, I was with like a group of fans like, who just got access to this.
Mhm.
And there was a group of girls behind me who were, I want to say like 10, 11, maybe 12. And they had a Sophie Cunningham sign, but it said happy belated birthday. And I don't think that these kids were involved or are involved or are in the know necessarily about all this discourse
Hmm.
because it wasn't about the discourse. It was just like a hey Sophie, happy birthday. And I just thought that was so interesting because it was like, yeah, like we get so caught up in all this noise that we forget, like, get like, by way of Caitlin Clark, all these other players have gotten really popular,
Right.
right? I mean, it's part of why Sophie Cunningham has all the like attention she does. It's like, it doesn't hurt that she happens to be on the fever, right? And so, by proxy, they have other fans. And so there's just like a group of girls who just happen to be Sophie Cunningham fans, and their comments or anything, it wasn't about trans people at all. They just wanted to wish her a happy birthday. And I was like, when you go to the games, that pureness and love for like people in the game still exists. And it was just such a reminder to like touch grass, get out there, live life, because it's like, it was just nice to see, frankly. Even though it was for Sophie, it was still really nice to see that there's just like these young girls who just happen to be fans of a player, and they're not involved in the rest of it.
Right.
I don't know. I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's multiple truths, right? So, I think like there can be politically charged and yeah, like sort of progressive fan bases, and then sort of like less aware fan bases. Like when we I booed Sophie when there was like booing
I
going
did
on.
too.
There was a couple fans behind me, or sorry, right in front of us, that were like a little bit older, and they were sort of like wearing Caitlin Clark jerseys, and they were like sort of like they looked like a little bit perturbed at the boos, but like
Mm,
not to the point of like being like mad. They just
mm.
their vibe was just sort of like almost like eye roll at the boos.
Oh, interesting. But there were
Mhm.
so many.
There's so many. Yeah.
I There might have been a few people around me who were indifferent or not in the know because they're casuals.
Yeah.
But plenty of people around me were booing as well.
I didn't see any Sophie jerseys. I'll say that.
No Sophie jerseys. There was a random T-shirt at the rally that had her with the finger pointing emoji,
Mhm.
and they cut to a woman on the jumbotron with that T-shirt, and she was being, pretty sure she had a mullet.
Nice.
Just saying.
Yeah. Do you think?
Yeah, live your life, live your truth, I guess. So yeah, that's the feedback on that. I don't think any of the Toronto media asked her about it. Not from what I saw, at least. A lot of softball questions for Sophie, which I thought was an interesting choice, although maybe they were directed to do so or something like that as well. I'm not sure. But yeah, very, very interesting times. I wonder what it will be like when they come back in September. If this will
Yeah.
have died down, or like what the kind of temperature check will be like a month from now.
It will be very different in Coca-Cola. Hopefully we can get credentials to that game, and
Mhm.
yeah, it'll be very, very different.
Mhm. It'll be the second last game of the year. All right, well, let's wrap it up there. Everybody, thank you so much for listening, tuning in. Tell us, get in our comments on social media, on Twitter, TikTok, on YouTube. Uh, Let us know, what do you think about the mascots? We want to know your opinions. Get in our comments. Tell us if you think we're crazy. Tell us if you love them. Tell us if you hate them. We want to know. We're very invested in this topic,
Yeah,
clearly.
clearly.
But thank you again. We appreciate you. Remember to listen to the pickup as well. A lot of great content there this week, and we will catch you next time.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Peace.